Hey, first to my God, then to my ancestors who endured the unendurable, tolerated the intolerable, and raised me patiently to do the impossible while loving me fiercely. We are the hopes and the dreams of our ancestors. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Auntie.
Hey, kings and queens. Welcome to the We Are Your Aunties show.
Hello.
On. Wow. So tonight is going to be a very, very exciting time because we are starting a whole new thing, a whole new format, and you all will see it unfold as we go. But how are you guys doing tonight?
I'm great. Excited.
Me too. I'm super excited. So listen, tonight we're going to be talking about kind of second chances, right? And the second chances in terms of, if I don't get to do it right the first time, do I get a second chance? If I'm a parent and I don't do what I was supposed to do because I was too afraid to or something like that, then is it okay to have my second chance through my children?
Yes.
What do you guys think about that?
You know what? I think people take second chances, once they grow into themselves.
Go ahead, Rose.
No, I said once they grow into themselves and then they realize that they can take a second chance, they just go for it. And,
no matter what that looks like, huh?
Exactly.
Wow.
I don't know about all of that because sometimes when you didn't take the first chance, people they second guess themselves, and then if they have a negative Ned or Nelly next to them, they're paralyzed again, and so the second chance is wasted.
Wow, a negative Ned or Nelly next to them. Tell me more about that.
Well, the thing is, because even me growing up, you have some people that's around you. It's like, oh man, that's a wonderful idea. You should do that. And then you have the person next to you like, oh, well, you can't really do that because I had this person do this, and then I tried this, and it didn't work.
And it didn't work. Wow.
And then by the time they get done talking to you, they didn't kill your vibe.
Isn't that something?
I call them dream killers.
Yeah,
they're very expert at.
We know a lot of people like that, right? We know a lot of people who they didn't take their shot because, fear, we talk about fear, it paralyzes you. It freezes you. You're just like a petrified piece of fossil, like you're just like stuck in your tracks and stuck in your comfort zone. And, then along comes this kid.
We got something special for y'all coming real soon, man. We working.
Hey. Oh, look at that. Who's that? That you?
She just came up all of a sudden. No, that wasn't me. That was Van Van. We're going to talk about her in just a few minutes. But that's, we're going to talk about a couple of things today. We're going to talk about that kind of fear. We're also going to talk about families on social media and what the camera is doing to kids, like having the camera on them 24/7, having everything they say, do, think, posted onto social media. We're also going to get into talking about, literal second chances. Like, we won't tell you who it's going to be. It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be in a certain segment that we have coming. But somebody who, she messed up, and then everybody thought she would never come back and do what she was intended to do. And then all of a sudden, boom, I won't say what happened, but Auntie Genoa is going to bring us that segment. And then at the end, we're going to go into the historical aspect of this and how is this is showing up right now, and in relationship to our ancestors and what they went through. So this is going to be a power-packed, full evening of auntie goodness. So I just wanted to kind of start us off by saying that I've been watching really closely. I don't know if you all have. And we have someone with a comment. Oh, hi, Ricardo Love. Ricardo Love says that he believes in second, third, and 15th chances. Well, now that really depends, doesn't it? That really depends. I love that. That's so funny. And then he also said that a lot of the people are living vicariously through their children. And that is absolutely true. Hi, Duncans. How are you this evening? Nice to see you. So, we got another comment up here. The fear of taking second chances. I tried to take a chance, but was shot down. Then the other person stole my idea, so I gave up on that second chance. Well, that happens. Look, when that happens, go back to Ricardo's statement. This is really good. Sometimes you have an opportunity to take a second chance. Let's just face it. Sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, now, we call it, being in God's perfect will and then being God's permissive will. And whether or not you believe in God, there's that absolute perfect opportunity for you. And then there's what you settle for because you missed it. And sometimes those things work out very well. I mean, like in marriages, for example, a first marriage may not work out that well, but then, you get with the right person, the second marriage, it works out just fine. But we're talking about real opportunities that take you from one level to the next.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I used to have a habit of saying, I didn't submit that paper or that proposal, that whatever it is, I didn't submit it this year, but I'll try again next year. Well, what if it doesn't happen again next year? What if the organization or the event or the convention or whatever it was that, you wanted to be a part of, what if it doesn't happen again next year? Then that means you're done. Hello, Arlene Barbie.
Hi.
Have you guys ever had an opportunity fly by you because you just were afraid, like literally afraid to go for it?
Go ahead,
I'm gonna go. Thank you. The thing is, sometimes you have the opportunity come up and you haven't prepared carefully for it, so you still can't take advantage of it.
Okay, and that's one thing. Okay, so that's good. So then, were you afraid to prepare? Because there's fear of failure, but then there's also fear of success.
And you're absolutely right.
So were you afraid to prepare?
Yes, and I use work as an excuse not to do it.
Oh, you're talking about yourself. Okay. I thought you were talking in general. Okay.
Well, and it does happen in general, because even in the field that I'm in, I've run across so many talented people. There was a guy that I worked with. He drew so good. You can see with a pencil, you can see lip gloss glistening on the lips on the paper.
Wow. I've seen those, and also like the paintings where it looks like water drops, like it looks like you could touch it and the water will come out. Yeah. So what did what did he do?
He was there for the security of the check. And so we missed out on some talent. I mean, just think about all the talent that's locked in the 9 to 5 that never gets out there.
Wow. Locked in the 9 to 5, or that goes to the grave.
Yes.
Because if you're locked in the 9 to 5, at least you still have a chance.
Right, that's true. But you know what? I had a personal second chance, and for fear not taking that second chance, in my youth, I was like one of the best dancers out there, and I knew it.
We would have had to have a dance off then.
And I wanted so much to try out for the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
Ooh.
And fear stopped me dead in my tracks. What if I'm not good enough? What if they, they don't accept me? Because back then it was mainly, just white girls.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm too black, I'm too,
They had a couple of chocolate ones in there.
No, they did.
Yeah, just a couple though.
they had a couple, and that fear, I was frozen.
We're not laughing at you. We are laughing at Ricardo talking about, let's see it. Shake a little right now. You know you still got it. Absolutely. Without a doubt. You have to come to special spaces to see us doing all that. We do that at our live events. But I hear you, Rose, and it's that fear of rejection.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Fear of that's a big one. That's like almost the granddaddy. Okay, it's the fear of rejection. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm not going to give you all my juice till I get to my segment. But fear of rejection and fear of the unknown. That's a big one.
I still think about that sometimes. I still think about that. What if, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Wow.
Somebody told me that the best ideas and a lot of the history is in graveyards. Buried 6
Yeah, it is.
And that's unfortunate because we need our narratives. We need our history. Darren Duncan wants to know, but where's the shelf life of that second chance? What do you mean by that? Do you mean what is the shelf life? Like how much time? Because where is the shelf life? I think it really depends on you, and it really depends on the opportunity.
Right?
Fair or not. Here's a really good example. I went back to college to get to undergrad and to get my master's. But anyway, I went back to undergrad, and there was an opportunity to see Spike Lee. Spike Lee is my favorite filmmaker, hands down. And he was going to be at another university. So a friend of mine and I went out there, and they were holding a seat for me. This place is packed. Like people are on the floors, they're on the walls, they're in the rafters, and there's this one little open seat for me, right? Because I'm trying to make my way out there to go see Spike. And when I came in, people were looking at me like I had something on my face, and you know what they thought was on my face. And so I sit down and everything. And then there's an opportunity to go up and ask a question. So I go up and I ask my question at the mic. Now it's over. He's up there doing a Q&A. He's in the middle of the Q&A, and I have my script with me that I want for him to sign, right? Just for posterity's sake or whatever. I don't know. I just want Spike Lee's autograph, but I want it on this script that I've written. So everybody is like, behaving themselves down in the audience. Mm-hmm. And I knew, Paige, you may never see this man again. You may never have this opportunity again. Mm-hmm. And so as this man is in the middle of his Q&A, folks standing around, the people who literally paid for him to come, like the campus that I was at. This is a host campus. I don't even go to that school. I go up the side of the stage.
In the middle?
In the middle. Because you know what? I know they're going to be ushering him out of there right after. Mm-hmm. In the middle of his talk, I go right up to the stage and I say, "Hey, Spike, can you please, I know I'm totally out of line. I said, can you please autograph this for me?" And then when he looked at the title of it, he's like, "Oh my God." Right? And so what he said to me was that he appreciated my boldness. He said, because, how did he put it? He said, when you color in the lines, you rarely get anything done. And so
I got a clip of you somewhere doing that.
Well, I have a picture. I should have had it up here, but I didn't know I was going to tell that story. And the script was called Smoldering Ashes. And it was about the aftermath of the LA riots.
Oh, okay.
And it was right at the 10th anniversary of the LA riot. So he was just like, whoa. And then he got right back on track, and I climbed on down. And then my friend who was with me decided he would do the same thing, but he waited a little bit more toward the end. But my point is this, right? My point is the opportunity is in front of you right now.
Yeah. We
don't know what the shelf life is, Darren Duncan. We don't know what the shelf life is. And so it's now or never is what it is. But sometimes that second chance comes back around, or something equally as good or better will come back around depending on the circumstance. Auntie Paige is talking about a key concept. It's worth knowing that chances don't always just show up. You can create your own chances too.
Hey, Rebecca. Yes. Yep, I see you.
Hi, Rebecca Salome.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome to the show. Somebody, who is this? Oh, Bridget, hi, Bridget. She said, Lord, help me not waste my talents because of fear. We pray that you don't. Because here's the thing. And then we're going to go into our next segment. This is perfect. Perfect segue. Here's the thing, Bridget. There's something in you that no one else has, that the world is waiting to partake of.
Yes.
To see, to use, right? So if you don't give it, because I mean, somebody else can do what you were born to do, but they can't do it the way you do it.
Mm-mm.
We need it the way you do it, through your personality, through your character. So I pray too that the Lord helps you not to waste it because of fear, because fear is false evidence appearing real. It's interesting when you start getting into what you're born to do, the fear kind of melts because you get so focused and so anyway. So there is a person in our midst right now in the culture who everyone had given up on because of some mistakes, right? And I'm going to let Auntie Genoa explain the rest to you as she goes into second chances.
Dun, da, 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 da. Shakari, go ahead and cue that video, DY, of the race. After winning in Budapest, she is now a world champion after she was rode off by many. She came back strong from the cancel culture that was especially brutal to Black and brown people. There were a lot of congratulatory comments on the video, but there was still a few that made little bubbles, like bubbles burst quickly, or someone talking about her nails, calling them claws. But she still shut up her naysayers. Look at her go, Shakari.
We love Shakari.
So while watching her run, when the announcer says that she won, while the Jamaican athletes were still running, you could see how stunned they looked. And Shakari was like, I did? And she looked up and she put her hands up. It was an awesome moment. She's only 23 years old. She says she's not back, she's better. And proudly wearing her hard-won medal. People expect her to be more mature than her 23 years and be appreciative when they speak well of her. And she remembering no help when she was kicked and went down after her mother died. These new millennials didn't grow up with the same values and teaching that someone older grew up with, like us. Even my grands don't have the same outlook as the children that I raised, okay? It was a different world than the one we currently live in. Okay, so it's beautiful to see this young queen grow into her own and not allow herself to be boxed in or bullied by public opinion. As she continues to mature. Now, Black and brown athletes are more likely than their counterparts to be penalized and their trophies, their awards, their records wiped clean and given to someone mediocre, undeserving, and not just as driven to excellence in order to stop them from being good role models for countless young people that have been stripped and lacking role models for decades. But so I have a question.
Come on.
If representation doesn't matter, why is everything in the oppressor's image?
If representation doesn't matter, why is everything in the oppressor's image?
And that's Shakari with her own. Even though she loves a good hairdo, because as Black women, we change it up.
We do.
But she has hair. She's not bald. Look at that beautiful hair on her head.
Yes.
She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. You know, It was interesting I guess it was 2 years ago, she was qualifying for the Olympics. First of all, let's not pretend like Auntie Genoa didn't just do a knockdown, drag out, slam dunk right there. Give it up for Auntie Genoa! And then I want to say that I know Sha'Carri's killing it. She's killing it. Represent baby girl. That's right. Yeah. Right. And you know what's powerful about this story to me is that I remember 2 years ago what happened. And I'm not going to even bring that up because like she said, I'm not back. I'm better. But she was going through some things. Her mother had just died. And she was really feeling it. And so, you know, she was doing some things she shouldn't have been doing, but she came out and she confessed it. And then she went away and she did the work. This is the point of the story. She did the work. She went, got therapy. She, you know, got herself together nutritionally. She got her mental, her spiritual, her body. Look at that body. I mean, it was already amazing, but she can't be beat right now. Right. And she went at the end of her race, when she was trying to qualify for the Olympics. At the end of her race, the first thing she did was look for her grandmother. And she went to the stands and she just fell into her grandmother's lap because she had just lost her mother. She was going through a lot. But right now, you can't do anything with Sha'Carri. I mean, she's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then, yes, Ricardo Love is right. Michael Phelps didn't get penalized for his weed. She did. Okay, I guess we're going to mention it just briefly. But yeah, so I mean, there's always that double standard, right? Look what Bridget said. I love it. She said even if she was bald, she's still awesome. Look, she might even be more awesome because she's more aerodynamic.
Yeah, she did it. Yeah, you know, those without sin throw the first stone.
Exactly. Those without sin throw the first stone.
What I was laughing about is when I saw the video, the one that I was looking at, after she won and she was celebrating, the two Jamaican girls were sitting on the track, sitting there looking all lost. You know how in the Bible they say when people are lamenting, they sitting there throwing dust on their head. That's what it looked like they was
oh, like they were grieving, like ashes on their head. But you know what? Here's another powerful part about this story. Even though she beat out the Jamaicans, there's lots of media coverage. They couldn't miss it because the Jamaican sisters and Sha'Carri, they were just hugging and happy for her. They just showed it, like they just had that unification, that unity, which I think is so important. Talk about representation mattering. That representation definitely mattered. And they did. They celebrated each other. They learned to celebrate each other, which we need to see right now. We need that kind of thing. So thank you for that very feel-good story, Sister Genoa, Sister Auntie, Sister Auntie friend. So next we want to segue into another topic that we have for you tonight. This one is very, very interesting. We're going to talk about Black families on social media. Now, there are some children for whom this is amazing because they just have natural talent. They love the camera loves them. They don't mind it. They start to cry when mama puts the camera away, some of them. But then there are others who I'm not so sure if they want to be in front of the camera. And what's that about? If we're talking about second chances, are the parents doing it for the children? Are the parents doing it for themselves? Or what is that? So we're going to go ahead to Rose's Gold as Auntie Rose breaks it down.
You know what? You know what? I'm going to give you a gold nugget. Me and my husband ran a theater in Theater Row in Hollywood for over 20 years. And this topic, dealing with children and parents living their lives through, I've seen that time and time again, where backstage the kids are crying because the mother or the father or the uncle is saying, you didn't do that well enough. You didn't do it well enough. And you need to do it this way. And I'm like, what is going on? So many times. So we're talking about social media. Yeah, but the kids and all creative platforms go through this. And I've seen it where kids stop talking and they some of them loved it and some of them just wanted to just go home. And so we dealt with that. So, but two different kids that I want to bring up, Zaza, my 8-year-old, as a matter of fact, she loves her, and she introduced me to Zaza. And Zaza is a child. She's a rapper, and actually her dad is Nemo, and he's a rapper. And I'm thinking to myself, is he living his life through this baby girl? Because I hadn't heard of Nemo, honestly, until I started to do some research about him. But Zaza is all over social media. I mean, the kids love her. My 8-year-old loves her. And she raps. She's adorable. She's cute. And I saw an interview with her on The Ellen Show with Twitch. And they were complimenting each other regarding the dance moves. And she was very, very intelligent. And she's filled with so much confidence. The audience was in awe. So I really feel like this little girl was born to be in front of the camera. And because she gave so many poses, and she was striking a pose, and she said, "Oh, I am so beautiful, and I know how to rap." And I mean, she had the audience eating out of her hands. And I just love the fact that she's already got that at such a young age. She's about 9 years old right now, but this interview, when she was looking like she was about 4 or 5 years old, and she had them eating out of her hands. I just have to say that. So again, and then Lele is another one that my daughter is interested in. She is definitely a rapper. She's 16 right now, and she had her show on Nickelodeon, and she's singing with different groups and different things like that. And she is another one I feel like is loving the camera. She's loving what she's doing. She is bringing forth a really good talent, and I feel like it's clean, and it's something that other young girls can look up to, because my daughter likes looking at her too. And she just brings so much positivity to social media, by dancing. She's doing her rapping, which I find nothing wrong with that. A lot of people say, "Oh, we can do something more than dancing and rapping." But if that's your talent, that's your talent. And it's nothing wrong with doing that, because I feel like other groups can do it. So can we. And I love her outfits, and I see that her parents definitely make sure that she is dressed and dressed appropriately too. I say it was a couple things I was like, wait a minute, maybe that's a little, but I know I could be old school sometimes. But these girls, they are definitely representing. Now
so
there is another young lady.
These two girls seem to love it.
Yes,
and there's another little girl, and her name is Van Van.
Van Van, yes.
And she seems to love it. Can we show that clip of Van Van? Do why?
Well, I know Van Van, she does that move. You know what I'm saying?
Here she is.
What you gotta say to him, Van?
I'm a slide on the beat, it's electric. Van Van fit in the day like Patrick. They say I'm Sub-Zero, ice cold. I'm on the dog the beat, Paw Patrol.
Hey.
Now this little girl seems really clean. I mean, she's young. Her parents, she's very respectful. She's very kind. She's very loving. She's very much a child.
She is.
And it's amazing that these three girls that you brought to the stage, Lele, Zaza, and Van Van. Isn't that funny? They all have that double name.
I know.
Lele, Zaza, Van Van.
Yeah.
But they all seem to love it. What about kids who aren't loving it as much?
Right, and that's the reason why I brought up, the theater, where I've seen it firsthand, where there are kids out there that, and I mean, we've done in film, and when we filmed also and put it out there on social media, we've had parents who literally drag their kids in. Even we did a segment with Cookies and Crime, which won at a film festival, and some of those kids are not in the business because their mothers or whoever the parents were at the time brought them and made them, and they were talented, but they're not in it anymore. They didn't even want to come to the award ceremonies or the film screenings.
Wow.
and or watch it on social media.
That's
so
amazing.
I saw that firsthand.
And what are the experts saying about it? I think that DY had a clip for us, or a clip or an image of what the experts are saying, because it has to be affecting the kids in some kind of way. There's one family in particular that, and I'm not trying to bust up your segment, but just to bring another point of view to it, the experts, 4 out of 5 say, the 4 experts who ultimately found social media as damaging said so for its negative effects on mental health, disturbances to sleep, cyberbullying, comparing themselves with others, privacy concerns, and body image. And these are the experts on the right-hand side of the screen: Joanne Orlando, Karen Healy, Susan Paxton, Tracy Ryan, and Marie Yap. And interesting they're all female, no males.
Yeah.
So there's, 4 out of 5 experts saying that, this isn't a good thing. But these kids that you brought, they look well-rounded, they look healthy, they look that way, but we never know what's going on behind the scenes. So
you're right about that, because when I was younger, I used to sing in the church choir, but I had quite the voice back then. And when my mother would have company, she'd call me, and I had to sing on demand, and I didn't always want to sing. I was looking for. I tried to be missing in action, but I didn't always get away. Let's put it like that.
And so there you were.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Okay,
So Bridget has a comment here. She's saying the phone is not this generation's second nature. It's their first nature. Say that, Bridget. Mm-hmm. They have never been without electronics, even as babies. I don't get it, but I'm a few generations older. Well, it's absolutely true. Where was I today? I was somewhere today, and this little baby was sitting on his mom's lap. Oh, I was at the nail salon. And this little baby, it was a female. She was sitting on her mom's lap. The mom was sitting in back of her. She's sitting on the mom's lap, and the phone is in front of both of them. But the mom isn't touching the phone. This baby couldn't have been more than 2.5.
I believe it.
The little finger was just moving. The little finger was just going. And it wasn't like she was in doubt about what she was doing. It's like, I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I know how to work this thing. So you're right, Bridget. I mean, it's like they're born with that phone in their hand. And so, this is what
get mad if they don't have it.
Get mad if they don't have it.
I have a little niece, and when my sister don't produce that tablet, she's ready to have a tantrum on the spot. I was like,
Right. Okay, so you've noticed, Rebecca, I've noticed that camera kids are most often little girls. There's a stereotype going on here, maybe. Well, you know what? I've seen a lot of little boys too. I think we just happened to pick little girls today. Maybe we should do another segment on little boys. But there's one little boy. Oh my gosh, his name is Samaj. I don't know if you all have seen him or not. His viral video is the one where he's washing dishes. There's water all over the floor, and his mom comes in and asks, "What are you doing?" Well, first he's so southern. He's so South Carolina-in, right? Because she comes in and she's like, "What are you doing?" First she calls his name, Samaj. He acts like he doesn't hear her. He's just washing dishes, water everywhere. Samaj, ma'am, what are you doing? Washing dishes. She says, "Well, you've got water all over the floor. What am I supposed to do?" And he looks down at her feet and he says, "Well, you got shoes on." But this little boy has hundreds of thousands of followers at this point. And one day I saw him, speaking to Rebecca's point, I saw him on a video, and he's eating his cereal. The phone is just sitting in front of him, and he's just eating his cereal. People are just watching him eat his cereal and talk about how his day and how he's going to go take a test today. And, you know, this cereal sure is good and it's soggy and all this. And then mama gets ready to take the phone, and he has a fit.
Oh,
Really?
A fit.
wow.
Like he's addicted to what people say when he's on camera. He's addicted to the lights, the clicks,
Wow.
yeah. And he wants his mama to read to him what the people are saying. And it was just, and I love this little boy. And I know that his parents take very, very good care of him. I mean, you can tell that he's very well-rounded and very well cared for. But at the same time, his addiction to that camera,
Woo!
no, the mental health, the comparisons. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Oh, somebody said she was singing with attitude. It must have been Van Van. Yeah, she was the one singing. That little girl, and she makes those raps up herself. Yeah. Now, let's talk about this. I saw recently, I don't know if you all know what Gracie's Corner is out there in our audience, but Gracie's Corner is a educational kind of channel on YouTube where they teach kids, you know, the alphabet, numbers, colors, different nursery rhymes, things like that. And it's really cool. I mean, it's very, very popular. They have millions of followers at this point. The little girl who voices Gracie is the daughter of the two people who started this channel. And recently what we saw, is
my daughter loves her.
Isn't she great? I mean, adults listen to her. She has one on there that's just bumping. It's like, what?
I know.
A few of them. She got a banger. She does.
And her brothers, you know, is incorporated. I love it.
And the animation is so cute, and it's just the greatest thing. And recently what we saw is that Gracie's parents either have made or are in the process of making a deal with Snoop Dogg. Oh, everybody got quiet.
Well, the thing is, he was all the youngsters whose lives he was a part of, they didn't turn out good. That's all. I'm sorry.
Well, and okay, he's an adult. He can do what he wants. You know, he has an audience. He has a following. They're adults. They can do what they want. And right now, what is it like these? What do you call affirmations? He has these affirmations to music, you know, like he's a rapper. He's a rap artist. So, you know, he knows how to get that voice, you know, and that rhythm and get that rhyme going. And he's got charisma. He can attract anyone. He can make anyone listen and watch. And so now it's this generation of kids that he's going after. I have to say it. And I just wonder, when a child has such a pure image as Van Van's, I mean, her parents really, she goes to church. You see her in church. You see her singing, praising on her own. It's not like somebody's making her praise the Lord. You know what I mean? This child really just has a heart for God, has a heart for, you know, pure things. And here's Snoop Dogg's arm around her. So my concern is just the influence, and it's not the influence on the child themselves, the influence on the brand. Like, what does that do to the child's brand? More concerned about the child herself, but definitely her brand. Oh, Bridget, I got you. She said no, she wasn't talking about Van Van. She was talking about Auntie Genoa. that was singing with an attitude because you didn't want to. They made you do it. I got you now, Bridget. I got you. So glad you mentioned addiction. Another whole show about addiction to attention. Yes, addiction to attention. Addiction to attention, and the comparison. That's another thing. I mean, the fear of missing out. That's what they call it, FOMO. The fear of missing out, the comparison, all of that. And then another child. Who was the other child? Okay, Gracie is another child who is collaborating now with Snoop. Yeah.
And you know, he's doing that a lot. And I really believe, because you know what, he's older now. And, you know, you can't get away with, you know, laughing and chuckling about passing, pat, puff, puff, pass anymore, because it looks ridiculous. So now it's easier to take a clean child and try to connect and try to change your image. because he did a Christian album. I think it was a couple years ago. I'm not.
Genoa has something to say about that.
But he is, I think, trying to clean up his act. We're pulling in these kids and saying, look, you know, I love these kids. It's not about the puff pass. So I think that's what's happening. And the parents are taking, well, this will boost my, you know, this will boost my child. But these children are already, I feel, that is already out there, and they don't really need his image. I mean, that's how I feel.
They do not.
You can take Gracie down, DY.
They don't need him. He's just trying to find himself another stream of income. I had a discussion with my friend when Snoop did took all of our worship leaders and made that CD, which I don't listen. I didn't support it. I didn't buy no song. I didn't listen to no song on there or anything, because he ever since he's gotten older, he's just been looking for a stream of income. And when my friend's like, "How do you know that he didn't give his life to the Lord?" And I said, okay, I'll wait.
It's the fruit, right, Genoa?
I'm a fruit inspector.
We can tell by our fruit. So okay, well, we really don't. Right. I'm sorry, Genoa. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. His fruit wasn't right, and I don't know. I just feel like this is another generation of children. And you don't have to look too far to see what he stands for. All his music and everything that he's done, he don't have. He's just looking for. To me, he's just looking for another way to get paid. And if he got to ride the coattail of babies,
wow, he's just looking for another way to get paid. So while we're not making this segment about Snoop necessarily, we're talking about exploitation is what we're really talking about.
Yes.
We're talking about capitalization. We're talking about exploitation. And we're just talking about, you know, like Rose was saying, perfect point, that, you know, his puff pass days are over. A lot of these people who have been in the industry for a long time, you know, they're just looking for, and I say this with the most actual way that I can say it. They're looking for new blood.
Yes.
Looking for new blood. So on that note, what makes them any different than the oppressors that went and got our ancestors to work for free or for very little? Food, board. I mean, they had to survive somehow. Mm-hmm. What makes it any different? Or have we taken on some of the behaviors of the oppressors when we're going after and what's the word I'm looking for? We're predators.
Yeah.
We're predators against our own babies.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And if I believe that we are taking on, because it's a new society, you know, and we also, I feel that as puppets on a string, because the big people that own everything, we're still puppets. We're still puppets. And sometimes we look at what we can gain from the puppet master.
Interesting. Well, I think
that's a very good.
Isn't that a very good point?
I mean, that's very good, because the thing is, when you're looking at these babies, they can't even be kids. As soon as people, they have too many eyeballs on them, somebody's going to monetize them. As soon as they get too many eyeballs, and it don't matter what age they are, they can be a little baby in months, not even a whole year.
As you're saying eyeballs on them, a little baby, not even a whole year. What's coming up in my mind's eye is slave masters looking out into the field, looking into the cabin, sniffing around, hunting around for the babies, the next ones, the ones they're going to sell, the ones they're going to put to work doing this and that and capitalize on, right? and make merchandise of. And so it's time for the next segment now. Pages pen. I penned a book. It's called Healing the Wounds of American Slavery. And we've been talking tonight about fear. We've been talking about how we miss opportunities because of fear, or some of us miss opportunities because of fear. But when we talk about where that fear is coming from, I think a lot of people kind of get glazed over because they just want to believe that it's a topical type of fear, that it comes from the pervasiveness of this current society of people taking advantage of others and, people being afraid of just general rejection. But there was a process in slavery called seasoning. And in seasoning, they literally took the names from our ancestors. They took their names, they took their culture, they took everything they could take and debased them down until they believed they were nothing. Many of them still held on to, their traditions and their cultures and their names in secret, but using your own name even could have brought about death. Praying in a certain way, speaking in a certain way, drumming, all of the things could have literally led to death. And so I want to talk about the types of fears that keep us from moving forward, because if we think about it, our ancestors didn't have the opportunity to live out their dreams, what they were literally born to do. We had all kinds of, artisans and craftsmen and women. And, we are the ones who brought the agriculture that grew the economy into what it is from the colonies to America. And so I just wanted to kind of give us a sense so that we can move forward, because we talk about the historical context of what happened in enslavement. And I think Rebecca has a good comment here. She has to bring up healing the wounds. Thank you, because exploitation of the descendants of the enslaved is pervasive in our culture now. Look at the exploitation of art and culture that the oppressor is still doing. And we call that cultural appropriation. Taking what we have, taking our gifts, taking our talents, taking the music, taking the way that we dress, the style, everything that we are, repackaging. Not good enough when it's on us and we're doing it, but repackaging it on themselves and then making billions of dollars off of what we do, even our hair, even our clothes, even everything. And so just moving forward, so that, who was that earlier? There was someone earlier, I believe it was Bridget. She said, Lord, let me not. Here it is. Lord, help me not waste my talents because of fear. And I think that's where a lot of us are, because it is very fearful to be as big and magnificent and powerful as we are in a society that wants to do nothing but squash us into dust. But we have to get beyond that. So let's call out what this fear is, okay? So that we can know what it is and get past it and recognize it when we see it. Because knowing the truth is what sets us free. Knowing the truth and doing what we know we need to do. So one of the fears is fear of the unknown, right? Fear of the unknown is literally, you don't know what you're getting into. You're trying something that no one else in your family has ever done. Nobody in your community has ever done. You've never seen it done before. And if you're really in touch with who you are, you're going to be doing something that no one else has ever seen. Healing the Wounds of American Slavery. The book, the film that's coming down the pipe, the stage play, the workshops, all of that. I had not seen anything like it when I first started this, and I haven't seen anything like it since, really, not to the degree that we're doing it. That's just an example. Everybody out there has gifts and talents and something they've been called to do. And so sometimes if we don't know how to do it, it just feels depressing. It feels frustrating. It feels confusing. And so we just drop it because we're afraid to go move forward. But you know what remedies the unknown is research. Find out about it. Find out as much as you possibly can. And if no one else knows, then you need to pray for revelation. That's really what it is at the end of the day. You need to pray to ask God to show you. Now, I know you put this in me. I'm not quite sure how to convey it. I'm not sure how to get it out there. Show me. Another fear is fear of authority. Like, I don't know this person over here. They have what I need. They have what I want to go forward. But, you know, they have a position of authority, and I'm kind of afraid of that. So get to know the person. And you don't even have to ask them to their face who they are. You can Google, you can chat GPT, although that's not very accurate yet. But there are ways you can ask people who know about them. You can do your research. Fear of rejection, that's a big one. Fear that what I do, what I put out there with all my heart, my soul, people won't like it. Vulnerability, that just goes hand in hand with that rejection, right? And then ridicule, fear of being teased, fear of being taunted, fear of like people are going to make fun of me. They're going to make me feel like a fool. Full self-expression, fear of full self-expression, because a lot of people are afraid of putting themselves out there because they'll be attacked. They think they'll be attacked, and oftentimes they will be attacked. But you have to learn how to be resolute within yourself, even when you're being attacked. We can teach you how to do that. Fear of death, seriously, because, for example, you know, we know rappers who have been shot down dead because people were afraid or jealous or whatever that is. They had an issue with them. Fear of loss, fear of displeasing others, fear of not measuring up, fear of not being loved, fear of being too loud. Because in this society, especially with Black females, if we're too loud, we're seen as angry, we're seen as aggressive, we're seen as manly. And that's not the truth. That some Black women are just powerful and their voices are loud to express that. Fear of not measuring up, right? I think I said that one already. Fear of causing alarm. If I am all that I'm meant to be, I sit in my power, I stand 10 toes down, and I tell you exactly how I feel, and I express what I brought to this earth in a way that's not been seen before, then that's going to make me stand out. And a lot of people don't want to stand out. That's why there are filters. That's why there's social media where people they're clicking and canceling and doing all of this, because everybody is becoming homogenized. And especially as more AI comes on the scene, everyone wants to be like everybody else. Even though they say they want to be individuals, their actions are speaking louder than their words. Right. Being cheated. People are afraid of getting out here especially in the entertainment industry, and they might be cheated. In the music industry, it is dirty, dirty, dirty dealing in the music industry. They might be cheated. Fear of leadership, fear of stepping out and being the one to be the leader, to call the shots, to say the things that other people don't want to say, that are unpopular, that to really just bring a group together and just go forward in a way that, you know, people have never gone forward before. We haven't seen this before. Who does she think she is? Who does he think he is? And then being ridiculed. That's another one. I think I already said that one. Yeah, being ridiculed. So at the end of the day, there is something inside each and every one of you. Les Brown says you have greatness in you. There's something in you that has nothing to do with you, but everything at the same time. Let me explain what I mean by that. When you have gifts and talents inside of you that is for your productivity, for your mission, for your purpose in life. You've been dedicated before you even came to this earth, that there's something in you that you are meant to do. You must do that thing. And if you're afraid to do that thing, get to know, ask yourself, what kind of fear, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid of rejection? Am I afraid of ridicule? Am I afraid of standing out? What am I afraid of? And then you have to challenge that thing. And the best way to challenge that thing, take it from me, is to just do what you were put here to do. The minute you start really digging your teeth into what it is you're supposed to be doing, the fear dissipates, because you're so focused on what it is that you know people need, that is inside of you and only you. That's the only way it's going to happen. So you have greatness in you. You have a design in you. You have a purpose in you. You have a mission in you. And listen, if you miss it the first time, it's okay. It's okay. As long as you keep being consistent and keep showing up and keep going at this fear, walking through it like a hot knife through butter, like as Auntie Genoa says, like you're 10 feet tall and bazooka proof, then you will definitely you'll do it. And you won't go to your grave holding on to the idea or the concept or the project or the building or the whatever it is that other people need from you. And most of all, what people need right now is hope.
Yeah.
They need hope. And so we hope that you will join us. Speaking of hope, we hope that you will join us in our upcoming workshops. We're going to be doing a workshop, tell your friends, called Black Male-Female Relationships, based on healing the wounds of American slavery. I had thought about other topics, but that is a hot topic right now. Why? Because the Black male-female relationship is at the core of our communities. And our communities are strong. And let me tell you why I say that. Because a Black male and a Black female are the only way to get a Black child. I'll say that again. A Black male and a Black female are the only way to get a Black child. Sure, you can have a white mother or a white father and, you know, a Black mother and a Black father. You can mix, you know, that combination. But I'm saying to you that my concern for the Black community are the Black children and the mixed children too. Don't get me wrong. Don't email me. Don't send me letters. I'm saying that our communities are stronger when our men are in place and our women are in place and our children understand who they are. At the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. And so Black male-female relationships, there's a reason why we are where we are. And we want to explain that to you carefully within, you know, a full day session, a full day. And then we want to explain to you what it is that we can do to move forward as a people. And so with that, I'm going to ask each of our aunties to come on back up here with me. And let's talk about this thing. Fear. Did you recognize any of your own fears in that list?
Definitely. Yes. It is a lot. I mean, you know, that fear is something else. If you don't, you know, like you said, if you face it, which is a hard thing to do, don't get me wrong. But, you know, and then the world will lack of not giving. It's your duty and your responsibility to give what God's given you or what you have inside of you to give to the world. And like you said, if you take it to the grave, the world misses out because your contribution is important.
It is.
Well, for me, I think that the biggest one for our community, because we've been marginalized and beaten down so long, is actually the fear of success, the fear of doing what it is that God put us here to do. Because every time you grab a hold of it, whatever's in you, there's somebody always waiting there to beat you down.
Exactly. And it's just interesting when you were speaking, Auntie Rose, that Rebecca Salome said, you said we have to face it. And just when you said that, she wrote another acronym is face everything and rise. I like that. Face everything and rise. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you so much for everybody who tuned in today. We're so excited that you were here and that you gave us so much feedback. We love it when you participate. Please come back again next week. We're going to have an equally powerful topic. And we're just so excited that you're here with us. And we just wish you all the best. Lots of love, lots of hope. And please know that we are your aunties. You can tell us anything. But now there's a way to say everything. Bye.